All. Hope everyone is well. Speedy, how you doing, pal? We're literally, I'm a little bit late today, we're literally a few seconds off the market open. So last day of the week, we have got some high impact news coming up in around about 30 minutes. So let's see what happens here. We do seem to be like we may have in a start of a trend. So Rodian, how you doing? Kanan, how you doing, bud? Okay. I was looking at this. We got a leg up, 2 legs back. I don't know. You could argue that's high or low or something, but I pretty much got a fair idea where it's going. We got the same on the NQ. We got a break. There's a higher low there. It looks like it's working, so I think the fair chance we're going to push up. And obviously it did there, but unfortunately we didn't really get an entry, which is a shame, because that was a nice move, that was. So let's see anyway. So Indy, how you doing? So let's see how we get on. So 1st of March. Unbelievable. Officially, I think by the equinox calendar, it's the first day of spring. So okay, I've looked on the Apex Discord. There doesn't seem to be any issues so far this morning with any lag or any problems with Rhythmic. There's nothing showing anyway, so that's something anyway. So let's see how we get on here. Shame that that would have been really nice. That's the type of trade I like looking for. A higher low here. That would have been a. If I just clicked here, what I selected? Legs. Okay. Especially as we've had like a triple bottom. So I think there's a fair chance we'll get up to these highs. That would make sense. So if we can get a couple of legs back here, we may get up to these tops. Whether we're going to turn into a range there again, a start or not, I don't know. Who knows? Got 250 kPAs. Good for you, mate, to pay out this morning. Nice. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Nice way to start. Absolutely, yeah. 1st of March. Officially the 1st of spring. Couple of payments. Yeah, that's nice. Always nice. Good on you, mate. Enjoy that. It's nice when that happens. You've earned it. You've built it. And I'm pretty sure you'll spend it. So good on you, mate. Good on you. That's good news. I know. I actually watched some of the Alpine traders. I think his name's Chris. Is it Christian or Kristen? Yesterday, he was quite calm when he lost those trades. Actually, to be fair, when I was looking at him, his face didn't look that calm, but he sounded okay anyway. So the trouble is when you get something like that. I mean, realistically, only the last few months he started to make really good money. So when you take a hit like that, you never quite know what it's going to do to you. Because I'm guessing with all this money he's been making, his confidence level is quite high, and I bet he's feeling great. So you don't know what it's going to do to you. So hopefully he'll continue on. But it is quite a mental hit, so we'll see anyway. But hopefully I wish him the best of luck. I think he'll be okay. His bank balance is looking healthy, that's for certain. So I think on the slight downside, he'd only be earning about $20,000 this month, while $20,000 on a bad month with a big loss. I'll be quite happy with that. So we're getting close to this measured move. I'm hoping we come back a bit first. I don't want to get up here too soon before we've had a chance to. Let's have a look. Before we've had a chance to get another opportunity here. My only slight concern is sometimes it doesn't always push right up to these tops. We'll see. Shame about that, really. I was hoping we'd get a setup there because I was pretty confident after this. I mean, we're in the middle here, aren't we? We've got a couple of potential tops up here, so a couple of legs back. Unfortunately, I have reloaded my historic as well. We didn't get that. I probably wouldn't have taken if it was bullish. I'd be looking for something a slight bit higher just as we start to move. But we had a second entry along there. Well, there initially, but it started to go a little bit sideways, so you don't know, are we going to break up and come down? So we're going to have a leg down, one attempt to go high, second attempt to go, and then drop. It's a bit hard to say, really. So channel here, we've already had a new high there, so I'll have to keep an eye on this, but we've got a break here. Whether this is a bigger channel remains to be seen. It's possible. Trouble is, if this is a bigger channel, that is not really where I'd want to be going along. I want it down here. So what I'd like is a break out the bottom, touch this, and then something, oh, sorry about that, and then something bullish. Yeah, my concern is we do that a lot. When we start down the bottom, we come up, and a lot of the times we'll sort of range around about here and we won't get down to the bottoms. So it stands to reason, Exponential, how you doing, buddy? It stands to reason that we may not get straight up there either, and that may be a top. We've got 3 touches there. So this might not necessarily come down, bounce and push up. It may just come down. So I've just got to be careful that we're not just bouncing off possible range tops, in which case we may trigger along and continue on down. So I'll have to keep an eye on this. Okay, that is a break out of that range. Let's see how this stands. Okay, let's move this a fraction and call it a spike in a channel, see if that makes any difference. That would fit the tops quite nice, so we'll see. I don't like that spike like that, but no, let's get rid of that. Sometimes you're better off just focusing on the smaller stuff. So, that's interesting. I would say to me that may be an overshoot. That looks like an overshoot, so we may push up. So let's see what happens here. As long as I don't get trapped, if we can get a higher low here, then I may trade that back into the range. We'll see. But I certainly wouldn't take to that. I've only just made that work just by messing around with it, so I wouldn't trust that. I'd wait for a higher low. If we can get a higher low here and a higher low here, then I'll trade that to continue on up. Let me just see if that works from anywhere. No. Still not good enough yet. It could do that and trap you and come down. So I want a higher low on here. I want a little pullback and then a higher low to tell me we're continuing on up. Because it could. What's up? How you doing, bud? That's a pretty good sign. I think there's a good chance we're going to get to the tops. See if we can trap that short maybe. And give us a higher low. Okay, it's a bit too far from the EMA that. I'd like to get a little pullback. Let me just get an order ready. When's this news? 20 minutes, okay. We're still
order
okay
submitted.
Let's see what happens here. I'd like to trap that short, so if we can get a trigger below that short and then another leg up, then I'll go for a higher low here. It is a fell break out of that range, possibly. Come down, come on. Yeah, it's about 20 minutes away. It hasn't triggered that anyway, so we're still okay. I'd rather trigger below there. Things go flat, yeah. We got 20 minutes away. If they go flat, I don't mind getting out of break even. I mean, this is... Let's see what happens. Okay, that's trigger below that bar. Let's see if we push up now. Okay, it's a no good
Order
anyway.
cancelled.
I mean, technically that channel has played out. We've got to break with a new high. Very close to these tops, but not as close as that I didn't think they could go up a little bit higher. Maybe it will. Leg and a leg. Yeah, that's it. Well, the strange thing is, there's a little channel there with a clear little overshoot. In fact, I can even make that overshoot look a little bit more dynamic. But we've got a nice little channel there. With an overshoot. So in a lot of cases, an overshoot will maybe a correction, but that seems to be working off there. So if we can get a higher low here, then I'd say I'd expect that to go up. It is an overshoot. Let's see if we can get a higher low here. So we've had a channel break, new low, so it's a leg and a leg with a bullish bar. Now I'm not taking that at the moment because it's below the EMA and we're strongly above it here. I want to see what happens here. Looking for a higher low. So it's a leg and a leg. Big ass bar, that 14 ticks. That's a no-no. 4 minutes. 3 o'clock UK time, so about 17 minutes. Okay, we're up here now, so I think it's probably too late to trade this. We'll see. You may have taken that, I don't know. I mean, it is a second entry long. Well, no, technically that's the signal bar, isn't it? But no, I mean, it's a massive bar anyway, so it's 14 ticks, so that's 3.5 points. Tick above, tick below. It's a 4-point risk. I'm not risking 4 points on that. It's not good enough for me. So we're up to these highs, so let's have a look. Is this going to go higher? It certainly could. Confuse you, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Why has it done that? Maybe there is a channel. And that's, well, actually, that doesn't look too bad. I don't like this big gap here. Maybe it's just 2 legs and we're going to push up. Trouble is, if we're going to push up, we've got a fair ways to go to the highs. We technically bounced 3 times off there, so I wouldn't be thinking about going long here just yet. So if I'm not thinking about going long here, I wouldn't necessarily be thinking about going long here. Let's see what happens here. It's getting a little bit volatile now, so it's just gonna it may go a bit sideways here. I don't like what I'm seeing, so yeah, I think now's the time to sit back and just think about now. We got news on the way, so all-time highs up here again, so whether we're going to get up here again today, God only knows. So, leg and a leg, there may be a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and another leg up. That's always a possibility, which would take us up to all-time highs. So maybe that's a channel, a spike in a channel. I just don't like this. Something about it when it does that, I don't like that. That might be a better option. Touch there, touch there, touch there. But it doesn't fit as nice, so let's say we go for there. I don't know whether it is or not, who knows. I don't know. If there is a channel there, we could have 1, 2 legs of correction and then a continuation on up, but it's not very clear. Yeah, I've got no news, no US news. I only ever focus on US news. I've got no US news up until about another, let's say 14 minutes, something like that. But perhaps we've got a leg up with 2 legs correction and we're going to continue on up. It's hard to say. I don't like this. It's a little bit clammy for me. It's a bit congested, a little bit clammy. What's the word? A little bit choppy and unclear. So far, we are holding on that line, so whether it will continue or not. We've got a quick push down, and then we'll look smaller bars losing momentum. So I just don't like this. Because we've hit this in 3 places, we could come down now. So maybe that isn't a channel. Maybe we've hit a top of some sort, and maybe this is coming down. There is always a possibility. A slightly bigger channel there. So we've got a channel down, a couple of attempts to go higher, and then we're going to continue down. Yeah, what I'm seeing on here, I think this is more likely to come down than to go up. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't like it. Let's just focus on this. And that. That's a nice channel with a break and a new high. Channel, break, new high. So that's played out. Channel, break, new low. So this to me looks like a little channel, I think. And we're just breaking now. So channel down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. So news is coming up. So we look like we may get a bit of sideways stuff now. So whether that's anything to do with the news or not, I don't know. But so is this a channel? Possible. The thing about a channel is when we push up to the tops, it's got nice momentum, and then we get a pull back and we go again, push up to the tops, nice momentum, then we get a pull back, and we have 2 pushes up and we don't get up to the tops, we get up to this. So when it hits a level like this, more than this, I start to lose a bit of confidence that we're necessarily going to push up. So then I just forget taking longs. So if I'm not taking longs here, I won't be taking them on here. Got $50, nice second entry short. Triple test on the 1500 tick on the NQ. On the NQ or 1500 on the ES, bud. Computer stop. Yes, okay, you're doing 1500 on here. Do you know, I have messed around with 1000. What I'll say is, when you go down, you do get more detail. And when we have a push up like this, let's say we have a push up here, there's a high low there, but if you break this down a little bit, instead of having, say, 2 green bars, you could have 3, and one of them could be a higher low. I took some pictures of something on the 1000 tick chart compared to the 2000 tick chart about 6 months ago when I was having a browse around. And there was a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and a beautiful higher low on the 1000 tick chart, which worked a treat. But it wasn't a higher low on the 2000. It was just 3 big green bars. So sometimes when you do add more detail, you may get more setups. But obviously the downside to having more detail, it can make your chart look a little bit more congested and choppy. You know, I mean, if you're going to go down to the daily bar, you've got 1 bar with all this, and it's a lot easier to read 1 bar than this. But you know, but I think there's definitely a merit. As Max says, you can trade price action on any chart, and he said if you actually took away any prices and just left the bars, you wouldn't know the difference. Obviously, at real time you would, because obviously if this is the daily bar, it's not going to be moving as quick. But if you just freeze frame that and took away any information on here, he says you wouldn't know the difference whether this was a daily chart or weekly chart. I mean, if you're bringing the daily chart now, obviously it's just price action, pure price action. It works exactly the same. We got a channel up here, we got a break, 2 pushes up to a new high, or a push up to a new high. So you know, you could look at that as normal price action, and it's exactly what it is. So it's interesting that. So realistically, it doesn't matter whether you trade the, you know, in times where markets are quiet, maybe, you know, after hours, you could probably trade the 500 tick chart. You'd obviously get a lot more movement, and you probably need to, you know, lower your sort of 2 points down to a point, or 6 ticks or whatever. But there's no reason why you couldn't trade it like that. So there's a second entry short there. We do look like there is a possibility of a downtrend. We've come off these highs. Obviously, we've got this news, so we're not taking anything. And we've had a leg down, and there is a second entry short here, which is triggered. So as long as that doesn't push up and continues down, I'd say this is quite likely been coming down. I mean, the bar's not good anyway, so. But we do seem to be making higher highs and higher lows, so. But there's a possible failure here? There's a second entry short. That might be a trap. That channel looks okay. So if we can get above that bearish bar there, I'd say there's a chance we're pushing up to at least retest these highs. If not, just sort of break them. But try to draw the bear channel from the high swing and see if you like it better. And about here. And about here, are you? And about here. No, which one? Number 1 or number 2? Number 2. Oh yeah, I've done it. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Okay, so are we going to get above this second entry short? Yeah, we are. Okay, so now we're going to push up and retest this. Yeah, I think I'd already done it before you messaged it. Sorry. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, the slight difference there is we are still respecting this as well. So, but we do seem to be slowly working down, so I'd suggest, yeah, it probably is. It's hard to say really, because this to me looks like it's going up, in which case we're going sideways and we could just continue on up. It's hard to say at the moment, but we got this news in about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do, folks, is just put that there, and I'm going to make myself a quick cup of tea. I won't be taking a trade now anyway, so before this news, so a quick cup of tea, and I'll be back in around about 3 minutes. Okay, I'm guessing that's the news. So we did retest the tops. Okay, so let's tuck that aside now. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Sometimes we push up and start. We did it. Was it yesterday? We pushed up like that and then started sort of going in that direction, and then eventually all the way around. Other times we rock it up and then come straight back down. We just recovered all, and we started here, didn't we? Look, and we're back to almost back to where we were. So let's see what happens now if we recover it all, or whether we start to move in that direction. I'm just wondering whether there is any type of a bigger channel there. I think that's possible. Reason being is sometimes you think it's a spike because of the news and you can't include it in anything. Sometimes you can't. But we've comfortably come up to these tops. So if we can get back down here and start working up, I think there's a chance there is a bigger channel. So at the moment, it's just an area of interest. What does that look like on the NQ? Okay, it looks... I just don't like this big vacant area on the NQ, so I'm not sure about that. Let's just leave it like that for now. Let's, I tell you what, let's just bin that, put something here just to see if it does come back to that line. And if it does come back in and start working up, then I'll put the possible bigger channel. So maybe we've had an initial push up, couple of legs back, and we start pushing up higher, who knows. So, possible second entry longs, just a bit too early to trade there. It's still maybe a little bit volatile, but it's a little bit congested there, so I'm just sitting tight and watching. Okay, it seems like Tradeovate is having an issue today. Is everyone else having issues with Tradeovate? Just had a crazy lag and bought 10 points away. Okay, so far messages are flowing into to the Apex Discord. I don't know. We seem to be okay. Just wondering, because there's so many people using it and Apex seem to be growing, whether just the sheer amount of people using it is the reason why there seems to be more problems. I don't know. I'm going to say it only seems really, I'd never even heard of issues with Rhythmic up until maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I don't know. Does anyone using some kind of Guardian Angel yet? I'm aware of it, but I've not used it personally. I found one from, what's that? Click'll Go, which is very cheap, only 50 quid. Interesting. I'm looking for reviews. Yeah, that's interesting. That I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nutty uses it, and actually Nutty is doing really well. He seemed to start, I chatted to him quite a bit, and he seemed to start, I didn't know, I wasn't sure about his strategy, but he's got a bunch of accounts now, quite a lot, I think maybe 10 or 20 accounts, very close to that payout, and he's doing really well. I like Nutty, he's a nice guy, and he's doing really well, so I wish him luck, but yeah, he seems to be doing really well. But this one is 350. I thought you said 50 quid. I found 50 quid. Yeah, but this one. Oh, you're about the Guardian Angel one. That's where you heard it. Nutty is doing very well. He is. Yeah, I'm just... So what you're saying, bud, is that guardian angel helped him. Because what I'll say is when you get enough skills to trade, the only thing that holds you back is being able to control those emotions and control... I think he does. I might look in, because he usually streams a lot later than me, or a lot longer, so I might look in later. I haven't chatted with him for probably a month, probably a few weeks. Yeah, I think you're probably the same as me, mate, and probably the same as about 95% of other traders. When everything's going well, I feel on top of the world. You know, I'm going on tilt badly, and I'm scared of myself. Yeah, I tell you what, that just you saying you're scared of yourself. I know exactly what you mean. I don't know whether I can control myself enough. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Do I trust myself? Because when you do go on tilt, it's almost like someone takes over, you got blinkers on, and it just happens automatically. I think he's out sick today. How is he? But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Speedy. I believe software is the way to go for me. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. So, because I know I tried all that setting up Rhythmic, but all you've got to do is go back into Rhythmic and cancel it. You need something that you can set up and say, okay, I only trade between the hours of blah, 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 and blah, 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 and then it does not allow me to trade or adjust it until the following day. Come the following day, you're fine. It is weird, isn't it? If you can get away from the computer, the following day you should be fine. There is a higher low here. That looks like it's pushing up to me. There's a higher low there. 2 legs down.
Order submitted.
Actually, what I will say, there's quite a bit of support there. We've got 2 legs down. Is that going to go up? Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. I like to think, as our... Oh, you tosser. Oh, I knew that was going to do that. Once it started rocketing up. See if it'll come back and get me. God, that went quick. When it went above there... Oh, that's a shame. I don't often miss a trade, usually. In fact, a lot of times I'll just jump in and buy. Perhaps that was a time when I should have done it.
Order cancelled.
We pushed up above that line and that started to go there. That's a shame. I used to use Rhythmic stuff. It only takes 2 clicks. Absolutely. It's useless, really, isn't it? Trust me, when you're on tilt, you'll happily do that. That's a shame. I saw it there starting to go, and I thought when it gets above, we've got to push down. 2 attempts to go higher on the NQ. I thought when it gets above there, we're going to push up, and I just didn't get in quick enough, unfortunately. But that would have been a nice trade, that one. I like the way it sat on that line and pushed up from there, which is a shame, really. How far did it go? 3 points odd. That's a shame. It is frustrating. I don't often miss trades because a lot of the times if I think it's going to push, I'll just jump in and buy. But I'm trying to stop myself from doing that because it's a little bit impulsive. And the one time I don't do it, I missed out. Mind you, I have to say, when I do that, usually I'll only do it when I'm very confident. And I think it rarely doesn't work. So again, why is your stream 5 to 600 tick lag? If my 2000 moves more like 1600, I'm not sure there, bud. I mean, you'll be. I think. Do you mean that you're a little bit behind me? That's probably to do with there is a couple of seconds worth of lag between the time it comes from my screen till it gets to yours. That is speeded up from about 18 seconds, which it used to be before I had this sort of super fiber. It's a real shame that. That is a shame. Look at that push. It's very rare I miss a trade, very rare. Because as I say, if I'd have just bought, I'd have bought probably here. Still give me plenty enough time to get up. Slightly more risk, but change eBay playback speed to 2. That will put it as close to live. Well, I say 2. I do have it on something called ultra low latency stream settings. It's set at ultra low latency, which is as quick. Oh, not me. Sorry. My mistake. Oh, I'm annoyed about that. As I say, I usually hit it, and I actually did push it a little bit, but then it just went. When we got above there, I think it was going to have a little bit more of a push, but well, sometimes some you win, some you lose. You lose, you snooze. Now, that to me looks much better. Now, I like that. So that would have been a great place to go along there, which is the same, isn't it? Trouble is, if I put that there, that just doesn't make sense because we've missed everything out. Maybe it is. Maybe it will, but... So 2 nice legs down and a strong bar. Once we got above there, for me, it was going to push up, and that's why I decided to get in there, unfortunately. I was a bit too late. There we go. So maybe it is. It works here. Unfortunately, we've only had 1 touch, so I don't know about that. For the viewers, we can do playback speed of 2, which will catch up. Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. And I have mine on ultra low latency, so it should be. There's usually about 2 seconds between me and you guys, I think, which is nothing really. Takes you that long to hear a question. So, have we made a new high? We certainly have. That channel on the NQ I like, but this one I don't. The fact that it doesn't mean it's not right, but we seem to have missed such a lot there, but perhaps it is. Perhaps it will be. So we've got a channel there with a break. Don't get a new eye just yet. Come back a bit. Damn. You just can't go long here, really. It's just too far for that email. I will say it's nice that it's working off the midline, but we got to come down here first. Short off here. Trying Trouble is, for me at the moment, we're still sort of working our way up. I mean, we got a leg up there, 2 legs of correction, a spike because of the news. So I think there's a good chance we're going to break all-time highs now. And I'm pretty sure it won't do it in this time, but I'd like to see it get back and maybe confirm this larger channel. It looks okay on the NQ. And the reason I like it is we've got a touch, and a touch, and some touches there as well. And it visually looks okay here. It looks a little bit choppy. But it's still slightly bullish. So I think that's a good sign. That's, we'll probably get rid of that, in fact, at the moment. Trouble is, if you do, I see people like Marco and Mac in a lot of cases just concentrate on this smaller stuff, and the trouble is, if you do that as your channel, where are you going to take a trade back here? In the meantime, if you got 2 legs back here, you may miss it because you're wanting to get it to the bottom of the trend channel. So, although it's probably working in that area, it doesn't mean it can't have 2 legs down to here and continue on up. But it looks quite bullish. We didn't get nowhere near the EMA, so with plain account, can we withdraw to a bank direct, or do you need a no? Draw straight to your bank. You go into your plain account and set up your bank account. I use Barclays, and it goes straight into my Barclays account. It was better to use, and the reason we don't need Revolut is, no, that's what I was going to say. The reason we don't need Revolut, I think the fee, well, I say the fees, it looks to me, it might not be, because obviously there's a slight difference because they've got to sell the dollars to pounds. If I Google it, what say, I don't know, say $2,000, what it is in pounds, it's very similar apart from maybe £3 or £4, which is nothing. Now, when I used to have money paid into, if you had it paid direct into your bank as dollars, your bank would charge, I think it's a 2 or 3% fee, which is just extortionate, really, on $2,000, 10%. What's that, 220? If you charge 2%, it's like £40. It's ridiculous. Whereas if I paid $9.99 a month for Revolut, I could have it paid in dollars and convert it to British pounds at the current market value. So it was a lot better to do that. But they convert it for you to pounds before they send it, and it's maybe £3 or £4 difference. That's negligible to me. So yeah, just get it down into your normal account. So what you'll do, you'll get an email saying that they've received a payment from Apex. This is your plain account, and they'll process it, and it's usually in your bank 2 days later. So yeah, it's not an issue, but well, there is and there isn't. So you can have different accounts. So you've got the basic account, which is free, and there's the one I used to pay because it's not free. Yeah, the basic account is with Revolut, yeah. But to get unlimited amount of free currency exchange, you had to go to the $9.99 package. Because obviously I had it paid in dollars, and if I was going to get it paid into my account, it was, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds, something like that. So to pay $9.99 a month was a no-brainer. But then obviously they moved on to plain then, so I didn't need it. But I buy some crypto in Revolut as well. I like the way I can cash it in quickly and withdraw it straight to my bank within a matter of seconds. So, and the Revolut Steel account as well came with a metal card. I love those metal cards. They're bulletproof and they're wicked for getting ice off your windscreen in the morning. You know what plastic bank cards are like? When they're in your wallet on your ass pocket all day long, they just don't last today. They start splitting. But I still use, I've got money tied up in Crypto.com, their own CRO, whatever it's called now. And I used to have the Ruby Steel card, and I used to get 2%, so I used to pay my rents, my council tax and all my bills off it and make about £30-40 a month. And that's still going strong. The metal card, I don't know why banks don't go to metal cards. One, you're going to save a ton of plastic, and two, you'll go through 5 or 6 of those cards before a metal one will maybe not work. So, and as I say, great for getting ice off your windscreen, or as a weapon, maybe even. So what are we doing here now? Are we pushing up? I'd say leg and a leg. I wouldn't be thinking about taking a long here. Doesn't mean it won't work. So leg and a leg. I think there's a fair chance we're going to get up there. Yeah, it certainly could. I certainly don't think we've got any issues getting up to this other leg anyway and hitting all-time highs, what we've been doing over the last few days. Yeah, we're clearly, from this last bit of sideways, we're clearly working up, aren't we? I mean, is there anything that connects those? It's not far away, is it? We do seem to be working in that same pattern. We've got that leg up there, a couple of legs back. So, yeah, I think this is certainly a target. What it does on the way up there, whether it comes back here or continues on up, God only knows. So possible second entry along there. We've got this big vacant area here, so I'd like another leg back. We've hit the top of the channel here, hit the top of the channel there. I haven't quite got it there, so whether we're losing a bit of momentum or not, I don't know. Can you explain this? Just a bit confusing about I need to pay every month a subscription fee for an evaluation account if not past 25. Okay, so when you take an evaluation, let's say for instance it's $20 for argument's sake. If you're still in that evaluation period and you haven't passed that a month later, you'll get charged another $20. That's, obviously the price differs depending on what offer they've gone, but you continue to pay that for every month that you're trying to pass an evaluation. So if you pass it in 2 weeks, you'll get an email to move on to a PA account, and the $50,000 evaluation will get automatically cancelled, so there'll be no more payments. So I hope that's a bit easier to understand. And in one sense, you're in this short, are you? Yeah, I tend to not take them because it's technically counter trend trading because we are moving up. Doesn't mean it won't work. And not only that, it's congested to shit there. And so far, another reason as well I wouldn't want to go short is currently, since 3 o'clock, we've been above the EMA. Mac has marked a lot of those lately. Yeah, he does that sometimes. Yeah, it depends on whether you think there's a big uptrend or not. For me, we've got a push up, 2 legs of correction, and another push up. So I'd be pretty confident we're going to get up to this level up here. But obviously what it does in the meantime is a different story. The reason I wouldn't go short there is because one, all these bars here are above the EMA. So they say don't fight the market. The direction of the market is up, so you don't really want to be going short. And you can imagine there's going to be some stops there. I'm not saying it's not going to, but there's going to be some stops. So at the moment, with price being above the EMA, it's more likely to go up than it is to come down. So any of those stops there are about to get taken out now. So, I mean, if I can tell you anything, there you go. So any stops there, that one. If I can tell you anything, when it's congested like that, just don't trade it. Don't worry about direction so much. Just don't trade that, because you've side by side. But also trade with the market. You can clearly see it might not be touching the perfect place, but you can clearly see prices going up. So just don't counter trend trade. Don't short when the market's doing this, and you'll save yourself. I'm not saying it ain't going to come down, but just go with the way the market's going. So only take long trades in like this. So that's one thing. And whenever it's sideways like that, stay out of it. When you get more experience and you can start to read it a bit better, you'll have a better idea what it's likely to do, but it does add risk. So if you can just don't do those two things, you'll automatically save yourself some losses. Look what's happening. It's just non-stop going up, isn't it? And then what I'd say as well is get a second opinion, and my second opinion is the NQ. And what is the NQ telling me? Exactly the same picture we're going up, and in fact, it's much clearer in here. Yeah, there's definitely a bullish bias. I mean, look at the NQ. It's going up. Look at this. It's going up. We had that initial push down, and from here, right from 10:30 this morning, where are we? This is like 5.5, 6 hours. It's continuing on up. Yes, you're going to have pullbacks. You've got a correction here. You've got a correction after the news, but then we're up again. So avoid short trades when the price is going up, and stay out of congestion. Those two things will save you some losses. So there's a bearish bar there. So I bet there'll be traders thinking short there. I wouldn't be surprised if that traps and pushes up. It might not, but so 2 legs here, a possible higher low. So yeah, just stay out of trades in the opposite direction to the way the market's going. That looks like a higher low here. So that bearish bar hasn't triggered. But if it does, I can see that pushing up and stopping that out. I'm wondering whether this is a spike in a channel. Let's have a look. No, I don't really like that. I don't like this. So we've got this measured leg up here from earlier this morning. And also, let's put that there. And also, in fact, look at that. Right from the lows there, right to the top there, right from the low here, where's that finish? Exactly at all-time highs. It does make you wonder that, if you ever think these markets are random, forget it. Look, it is amazing how accurate they really are. I mean, sometimes these measured legs so many times finish right to the nearest tick. Unbelievable. Yeah, anytime, Kanan. Anytime, mate. If you don't know and you've not done it and you're new to it, you're not going to know. So, don't ever worry about asking. I get loads of private messages. What I'll say to you guys is you can message me anytime you like. I got no issues with that. I'm quite happy to chat trading. So if you want to ask something, a question about anything, just private message me anytime you like. I'm happy to chat trading. I spent many a nights not being able to sleep because I didn't understand something, and I messaged someone, and I always, it's like I said, no matter how long I've been trading, I would never ever start to charge people. I know Wilson does it, and I know others do it. You know, everyone's got their own reasons, but as far as I'm concerned, I've learned a lot of what I've learned because people have helped me out. Other traders have helped me out. So I'd never charge other people because I've had all my help for free. You know, no one's ever charged me, apart from obviously people like Mac, but that's, you know, that's a different story. So I got no issues if you want to message me morning, noon or night. Yeah, so if any traders bought that bearish bar thinking they were going to pick a top, it never triggered. But a lot of traders may just decide to sell that. But what happened? Pushed up and ticked them out. So we got a channel up here. We got one leg down. This looks like another leg. So I'll be looking. Hopefully, if this holds here. It's working really nice in there, but if we hold there and have two nice legs down, a nice second entry long here, nice idea. Account balance or cash on hand. Are they not the same? No, just go for account balance. Yeah, account balance. I don't know what cash on hand is. I think, oh, they're the same on mine, so perhaps they're the same thing. But just if you're not sure, just account balance. That tells you what your balance is any time. Close but not the same. No, just go with account balance. So look at that. Two beautiful legs down, and so far that's close enough for me. I can probably adjust that as fraction, see, so it makes it all fit. Yeah, that's close enough for me. So we've had two perfect measured legs down, and the body's sat there, so I'll be looking for a higher low here. If we can get a higher low, I think there's a good chance that can continue. So I'd like to get two legs down here. Yeah, anytime, mate. No problem, mate. It is confusing when you're newer to it and you haven't used it. I know Apex inside out and back to front. In fact, if I left Apex and went, I'd probably struggle. Because you do get used to a certain prop firm. You know, you hear that much about the rules and regulations. And shame about that. That's why I usually click buy. If all of a sudden I'm convinced it's a good setup and I think it's about to go, I buy it before a chance to go. But I did say to myself the other day, I want to try and have a little bit more control, but I don't think it's a bad idea just to buy it. And in that case, it would have made me some money. So, is this just a break? We've got two legs down now. So a leg and a leg. Just wondering whether we could, that may be a spike in the channel. Touch, touch, touch. It actually fits much nicer at the tops. So I'm quite happy that that is just 2 legs down and push off there. What I'd like to see is some shorts get trapped here and then push up. And hopefully a higher low here. Trigger below here, come on.
Order submitted.
This is the 1 minute chart. No, but it's the 2000 tick chart. So if you're not aware of ticks, it just stands for 2000 trades. Every 1 bar changes every 2000 trades. Okay, so that little bearish bar there is triggered. If that pushes up, then I think there's a good chance we're going to continue on up. So if this pushes up and gives us a higher low, possibly. Let's have a look. Single tick charts on IG, and then 1.5. Yeah. Does anybody else know what the 2000 tick chart is close to, minute-wise? One question. Just quick question, everybody, to help Paul out. Does anybody know what the closest is to the 2000 tick chart in minutes? Okay, now one more question. After 30 days, are automatically detected my credit card? Automatically detected my credit card. Or I have to pay the amount for renewal of either. Just read that again. After 30 days, are they automatically detecting my credit card? Detecting it. You mean a lot of... well, when you put your details in, if you go into your account and look at payment details, you can adjust your payment details for a credit card or a bank, so when they go back in. So if you go onto the Apex website and look at payment details, you can go in there and set whatever card, and they'll automatically do that. So when it comes to next payday, you can adjust it or change it when it comes to next payday,
Order canceled.
or when it's due again. You know, they'll just take it off that. So then a 20-second chart. 20-second chart. 20-second chart. Okay. What do you use? IG. What is IG? No, if it's 20-second chart, I don't think you can go below a minute, can you? I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, the easiest way to work it out. Let's. I got the 10,000 tick chart here. Let me just change that over to, how low can I go there minute wise? Yeah, it's definitely less than a minute, isn't it? I think in most cases. I've just changed my 10,000 tick chart to a minute. Let's see if we can have a look at that. Okay, so we got a higher low there. My issue is, at the moment, we have had 2 legs back, but price, the EMA is holding price, so whether it will or not, I don't know. Same again, it's holding price, so 2 legs back, maybe a higher low. I'm just not convinced here because we've got this vacant area down here. So, okay, so I've got the minute chart here. Tick charts, different. Yeah, I don't think a time one. It just gives you 2,000. Let's have a look. It's not a million miles away, I don't think, but where are we at the moment? Okay, so this is the minute chart. If you look at this section here, it's very similar. It's not a million miles away, push down a few bars to the side, but that's all it is similar. So that's the best I can do, bud. Yeah, just can't get involved at a long at the moment while prices are struggling to get above the... Oh, they're above there now, but 2 legs back. I just couldn't take that in all good conscience. We got lower tops, prices under the EMA. See if we can get a higher low here before we get up too much high, too higher. And as long as this is going to continue on up... yeah, anytime pull. Anytime pull. 1 minute's too slow. Is it really? I had a funny feeling for some reason. It was the 5 minute. Oh, it can't be the 5 minute chart, can it? These bars. I mean, a lot of the time, it just depends how volatile the market is, really. Yeah, maybe 20, 30 seconds ago. So 2 legs back, and we have reacted off this. There is a higher low which is triggered, but it's not filling me with confidence. It's not pushing up as strongly as I'd like. We've had 2 legs back, or a channel, a break, new low, higher low, but we're struggling to get up now. Usually once we get above there, and this, you would think the next place would be here. But this is struggling a little for me, which is making me a bit concerned about thinking about going long. Yeah, I'm not full of confidence. I think this is going to come. I think this needs to come at a little bit lower. That's struggling at the moment, so that tells me it's losing momentum. When we came back here, we pushed off strongly. Same here, relatively strong with a bit of sideways. So maybe it will go. It's moving a bit. Unfortunately, we got nothing there. I couldn't take that in all fairness. One, it's a reasonably sized bar. And it's at the moment it's just a bit sideways there, so you don't know whether we may start to go a bit sideways there. I may get stuck. It could have clipped you there and then come down to here and gone up. You just don't know. Trouble is, if it does trigger you there, it could quite easily come down to here. So we've got a leg down, a little bit of sideways, another leg down to touch here. So that was a no-no for really, unfortunately. But we're up to matching daily highs, very close to all-time highs. We're literally nearly there. It's been a strong market actually, but unfortunately, without having a higher low there was no entry to go up to long there as much as it's pretty much know it's going to do. You just can't get into it. I don't know how many times in the past I thought it's going up and I've just jumped in, comes down, stops you out, touches the EMA and rockets up. It automatically knows where you're going to take a poor trade. I don't know how many times it just does that. So we're literally about 2.5 points off all-time highs again. So leg and a leg. I wonder if we're going to come down a bit before we push up again. Order flow, what's that? Oh. Okay, so we got a little channel up there, 2 legs back. Be maybe something interesting for long. Yeah, I think a few people got caught on those trades yesterday, didn't they? That was one of them. That second entry short, quite a few people got stuck there. I know Bart got caught there, and that one as well. There were two areas that just had risk written all over them for me. Did he take the lower high of that one? 2 legs back. So fortunately, I recognise those as dodgy looking areas and managed to stay out of them both. But I bet quite a lot of people got caught out in them. Okay, so we've had one leg back to the EMA. I'd like another leg, or maybe a higher low here. We're on for the same possible thing here. A couple of legs down. My only slight concern is we've hit this area 3 times now. We've been up to the top here, here and here. We came back here. We didn't quite make it this time. So maybe we're just coming back just to get a better entry before we push up. Or maybe there is a possibility of a break. Yeah, you may be right, bud. The trouble is with that, it's a lot of times, we all sort of like looking for trending days where we can sort of, you've only got to think about going long, but so many times you get a big slow push up all day, and sometimes you'll just get little or no entries. It is a pain in the arse. Yeah, the trouble is sometimes, we get a break of a trend. Usually when we get a break of a channel, we make a new extreme. And in this case, it looks like we're going to, unfortunately, it comes back to the EMA and then continues and up. It'd be interesting to see whether there'd have been a higher low there on I'll tell you what, let's flick over to the 1,000 tick chart quickly, see if there would have been any type of an entry there. Where's my chart gone? There it is. There it was. Where are we? Where's my thing gone? Hold on a minute. What the hell's going on here? Okay, here we go. Yeah, higher low, look at that. Push back to the EMA, higher low, pushed up. So there'd have been a higher low there. So sometimes trading these smaller time frames can be a little bit better. Click button F. I was going to, but the F's disappeared for some reason. There's usually an F here. I can't find it. It's up above here somewhere. But yeah, look at that higher low there. So go back to the 2,000 tick chart. It's not going to make me go for it all. Oh no, we're here. 2,000 tick chart, nothing. Gold trader's happy today, is it? Yeah, where is my F? I don't know. It's gone. So yeah, but yeah, no setup there on the 2,000, but there was a higher low. In fact, let's get rid of these. There was a higher low on the 1,000 tick chart. Just frustrating. Did I adjust that? I did, didn't I? I can't remember. Let's get rid of that now. So yeah, high or low on the 1,000 tick chart, nothing on the 2,000 tick chart. The only issue is there's not a great deal of space left to, so we're in a measured move and all-time highs. So be interesting to see what happens. No trade here really. There's nothing here. It's a bit congested and then it just goes. Unfortunately, that's the case. Okay, there we go. All-time highs and measured move hit. So this is right at the top now. Personally, whether you think this is a channel touch, that's not the type of place you would go long, is it? You wouldn't get in on that, would you? So I'd expect to get a bit of a pullback now. But sometimes it does just continue to go up, but so on the NQ, we've had a leg, a break and a new high, and we broke the daily highs here again. I don't know, we all-time highs? I don't pay too much attention to this. Are we all-time highs at the moment, the NQ? I think if we are on the ES, we probably are on the NQ, so it's bearish bar there now. So this wouldn't be the place to buy, so it makes sense it's going to come down, doesn't it? But sometimes it just continues on up. Yeah, I think this can be one of those days where it's probably just going to keep on going. Unfortunately, sometimes these are some of the hardest trading days. So I'm frustrated about that. Usually I'll just click buy, but I opened up a limit order, and by the time I'd done that and dropped it, it just went. You don't know it's going to push that quick, so sometimes, a lot of times it may still get you, but it's frustrating when you change usually what you do because you think it's a better option just to not buy, and then as soon as the first opportunity I don't use it, I end up missing out on a trade. So it does seem like we've got a slow grind up here. So yeah, it's not a huge amount of points though. So it looks like there's a bigger channel there. I like that. Your spike and channel has an overshoot. It's hard to judge this at the moment. The reason I like it there is because we've got a touch, and a touch. It fits very nice at the top, and not only that, we're sort of working this top tier. I like the fact that we've touched the middle line there and got very close to it. So it's hard to say, really. But if that's at an overshoot, I don't know. Yeah, my same one, yeah. I can't see how it's different than that. And reason being is because, I know it's more important to touch the tops, but if you're buying here, you're going to be taking your profits at the tops, and look what happened at the tops. Got to the top, we came down, got to the top, we came down, got to the top, we came down. So where's this going to go? I'd suggest down a bit. But it kind of fits in that top tier at the moment, so but that's the trouble, is it's subjective. You just don't know whether someone might, sometimes people will suggest channels to me and I'll adjust them and they'll fit better, but at the moment I can't see anything. So if you think we got an overshoot there, you would have to take this up to probably here. To me, that is too shallow. I'm assuming you're doing something like that if you've got that as an overshoot. But if I take that up there, yeah, that to me is too shallow. It's too sideways rather than up. And channels like that are more sideways than up are less reliable as a channel. That's not to say we're not going to have an overshoot, but for me, that finishes better. Now, it does look like we've got a bit of an overshoot here. We've had that initial push up and we've come back and bounced there. We've got very close to it there, but I'm just wondering whether that just what it was because of the news. But we spiked above there, closed below, and that bar has touched the underside of it. So it just fits nice at the top. So, and it visually looks okay for me as well. It's visually got to look right. Yours starts around 11. Okay, so you're around here. Okay, so right. Okay, so you've done that, haven't you? Yeah. Or that? No, you'd probably done that, wouldn't you? 511. That's about here. Yeah. I don't know about that. I mean, there is a possibility it could be something like that. It's hard to say at the moment. But what I would have done is, I don't know whether I did or not, but I'll probably do something like that initially. Nice channel with a break, 2 pushes up to a new high. And it is an overshoot, and we've hit all-time highs. So I would suspect now, with that overshoot, which I think it is, we would get some downward stuff now. Now, in a lot of cases, we'll come down and push a bit higher and then drop. Sometimes we'll correct. Sometimes we'll just come equally. We do a bunch of different stuff. But I would suggest now, with that, we may have a leg and a leg. It's hard to say exactly, but I definitely think we got some downward stuff to come now. So let's have a look. We're on the NQ as well. Now, every time we've been up, we've been at the top, at the top, at the top. So it'll be interesting to see how far this gets. Now, with this overshoot, if this does decide to drop, I would suggest this is going to do it the same, and it may not reach those highs. And sometimes when it doesn't hit the highs, it loses momentum. We'll either come back to here or have a break. So we've had that overshoot, and it's come back and pushed up and made a tick higher, which it often does. So I would suggest there's likely going to be some downward stuff, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe there's a channel, I don't know. Leg and a leg, but we'll see. Redraw the channel after the news lows. So you're about there. After the news lows. So there's the news, and there's the lows of the news. Is that what you mean? I am here anyway. Oh, you're on about from there upwards. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's have a look. So from there, yeah. What I don't like is this big area, but we've got the same here. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Same again, we've only had a couple of touches, so let's pull that out of the way and have a look. Yeah, it may be. It may be. It may just decide to go off steep. It actually doesn't look that bad. And while we're still in this, it might be okay. In fact, I'll probably do that now. I'll just say, let's just put that like that. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's see from here to here whether we can get another measured move. Yeah, so we're still a bit above it at the moment. It's so hard to say, really. It's hard to say. So yeah, maybe just going up at a slightly steeper angle. We've started that initially, and then quite possibly gone up at a steeper angle. Angle. What was the news? Back here. ISM manufacturing news and consumer sentiment caused a bit of a spike, but then we recovered. I mean, literally, we recovered it all quickly. Arthur, yeah. So you think that looks alright, do you? It didn't look that bad, actually. Oh, Arthur brought you here. Oh, excellent. You're welcome then. So, Thomas Sky, where are you from, Thomas? Where are you from? So, at the moment, we're coming to the top of it, and we are on the NQ as well. So, yeah, perhaps it is just a little bit from the French land. The French land. So that actually fits really nice. We're coming to the tops there. I can bring that down. We are there as well. So all-time highs there. We can move that now. Lived in London for you. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Good. Let's just put that up here for now. London. I haven't been to London for a few years. Quite a few years, actually. Yeah, it's a funny old day today. So maybe a leg and a leg there. A leg and a leg. Yeah, that's possible. So we got a leg up, 2 legs down, and another leg up. Yeah, that's a possibility, I think. And I also have the same green channel. You have that one. Yeah, it does seem to be pushing up. So it's had opportunities to come down if it is an overshoot, and there's no overshoot on the NQ either. So I would suggest it's probably right. Let's just bring this down to just to there. In fact, I can probably get rid of it actually. So we're at the top of this channel, the NQ. So typically, every time we've been up there, come down. So I would suggest I'll probably do the same. That looks close to 2 legs. It is. What are you doing, Lancy boy? Okay, wrong one. So I'll probably put that there. No, let's leave it there. So yeah, very close to one leg up there. A bit of a correction, followed by another leg. So yeah, we're a few ticks away from it, 3 or 4 ticks. So I would suggest that there may be a smaller channel there as well. So I wouldn't be thinking about going along at the top of the channel here, and likewise here. So just going to have to sit tight, and hopefully we may get something down here. Oh, excuse me. When I think about Alpine's day yesterday, I think the sad news is, if you can call it sad news, he's only going to be withdrawing 20,000 this month. So if you think that's sad news, it wouldn't be sad news for me, I can assure you. But the trouble is, he trades, I think he typically trades 2 or 3 accounts at a time. Maybe even a bit less, but I know the other day he was talking about copy trading a lot. The trouble is, he trades without a stop loss. Now, the trouble is, we all know how quick the NQ can move, so sometimes you can get in a heap of trouble. And if he's decided to hold because it may be coming down to an EMA where he thinks it may start to push up again, where do you draw the line? Where do you come out of a trade? So it's just one of those things. He has a lot of success, but obviously that copy trading yesterday caused him some problems. So I'm suggesting if he's made all that money without copy trading, I probably wouldn't start now. I think he started copy trading to try and make more money, but I'd suggest making an average of $40,000 a month. I probably wouldn't fix that. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So don't start taking. It's his way. It's the way it's worked for him. So if it doesn't, if it doesn't need fixing, why trade it? Have you taken a trade this week at all? Have I? Yeah, took a trade yesterday. Let me have a look. I took a trade yesterday. Let me have a look. I took a trade yesterday. I took a 2.5 point trade the day before. Let me have a look. Day before that, no trades. Day before that, so yeah, there we go. So that was yesterday. 2.25 points, no trades the day before, 2.5 the day before. So no trades, 2.5, no trades, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So most of the time, yeah. I tend to average a trade a day, but most of them will be winning trades because I sort of sit and wait for the the good ones. That one would have been an absolute corker, but I dropped my order in there, and unfortunately it just rocketed up without me. But what I'll suggest, what I'll say it like this: if you looked at what's his name, Bart, lovely fella. I think he took 6 trades yesterday and lost 3 of them, and 1 was break even. And the trouble is, if you take 3 trades in a day and 1 of them is a loser, you're worse off than if you just take 1 trade in a day. So I would suggest take 1 good quality trade. If you happen to get another great quality one, then happy days. But you're going to have a way more higher win rate. 2 days in a row now. Ninja Trader, fill me in the opposite, the opposition of the trade after the first trade is closed. Can be done. Help be it. So that again, 2 days in a row, Ninja Trader filled me in the position of the trade after the first trade is closed. I am using Replicanto. Yeah, I use Replicanto. So a trade closed and it opened another one in the opposite direction. Okay, I've come across that before. Let me have a little think. Do you take market orders or do you take limit orders? Market orders, okay. Since I started taking limit orders, I don't get problems. When I started was taking market orders, sometimes it'll do that on the rare occasion. Now, I don't know whether that's to do with computer speed or not, but I started then to put in limit orders. And the thing about a limit order, if I'm going to take an order one tick above there with a market order and I drop it in as it ticks above, or at the same time, a lot of the times it'll kick you out. So if you look up here at the top of my chart, I've got the orders and positions tabs. Okay. Now, sometimes, are you trading? Okay, so you're obviously trading. That was a silly question. You're obviously using Replicant, so you're doing multiple trades. Sometimes when if you open a market order and you leave it there, it'll go in your positions tab. Sometimes some of them will trigger and move into your orders. Other times, there'll be some left in your positions tabs, and if it comes down again quick, it'll turn it into the opposite direction. I don't know why it does it, but since I started using limit orders, I don't have a problem. And what I tend to do is if I'm going to take, say, a trade above there, I will hold my order right on the bar with a limit order, and the second it breaks up, I click. Yeah? And I've saved myself a tick, and about 98 times out of 100, it'll pick you up. So I've saved myself a tick, and two, that limit order will sit there until it gets picked up. Now, sometimes you'll get kicked out if it's quite volatile. So as soon as I started not using you're limited as well. Limit order is just so much easier. I don't know why people use market orders. Obviously, it depends on how you're trading. If you trade high low off that second entry long, you know about this one. Yeah, my slight issue with that, looking on the N cube, we're right at this very top. So see how we've got this bearish bar coming down here. I think there's a possibility we could have a leg down and a leg down. So that's another reason why I'll carry on with in a sec, John. We're right at the top of this trade, this channel. Last time we were up there, we had a leg down. We had a leg down and a leg down. Small leg down. It's not enough for me. I would suggest we come down some more before we go up belong. In which case, it could trap you here and come down for the leg. So I'm not sure about this. Yeah, just go on to a limit. So if I'm looking to buy, just right click and click
Order
buy limit
submitted.
order. And wherever you drop that, it'll sit until it gets hit. Market orders for me in a fast moving environment
Order
as this, where
cancelled.
it's volatile, are absolute ball ache. They are. I used to have problems with it all the time. Some triggering, some not triggering. If I use a limit order, it'll sit there until it's taken. So if maybe some of them aren't taken in that split second, maybe a couple will be taken, but I never have a problem. Try it, mate. Try it. Trouble is, when in fast-moving markets, market orders, if they get hit by price as you drop them, it'll kick you out. You'll get a little black box and you'll have to click OK and then right-click and do it all again. And in the meantime, your trade goes off without you. So it causes more problems with missing out on trades and getting kicked. Today is the day, Lance. Managed to reach my pet. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm really pleased with you, mate. I know you've had it hard lately. I'm really pleased with you. I'll have a whiskey for you tonight, mate. That's good news. Your first one out the way is always your toughest. When you get your first one out the way, the rest start to get easier. You're still going to have hiccups and stuff, but that's good news. Yeah, get that money, mate. Get that $2,000 out. Good on you, mate. Good on you. I'm pleased for you. Right, I'm not taking this 3 away from passing my first of all. Good on you. Good on you. I'm not taking that long there because I think, personally, that's a risky trade. You know why? It may work. We're hitting some support here, and that's concerning me. So that might come down for a second leg. I get why you're taking it a higher low, but that to me has got risk written all over it. It may work, but look what's happening here. We're hitting support, so you wouldn't want to go long here, so there's no way I'll be going long here. It may work, but I just don't like this at the minute. Okay, it is working, but for me, there's no way on God's earth I go long into that support on the NQ. So if I wouldn't go long here, I'm not going long on here. So appreciate it. We'll make a video in due course. Yeah, brilliant. That's good news, mate. That's good news. H $3 away from passing my first eval. That's all right, mate. It's still a milestone. I remember passing my first evaluation. I thought I'd made it as a trader. And 350 evaluations later, I'm still here. But that's good news, Sam. You needed it, mate. You really did. You needed it. It just goes to show you if you can hold your nerve. But your first one's the hardest. I had one, then I had one a couple of months later, and then I had a break, and then I had one again, and then I had a break, and then I had two. And I think I've missed 5, I think. 350, a real number. What's that mean? 350, a real number. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud, of evals. Is it? Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I think I'm about 354. I know quite a few people who've done over 1,000. I know loads who've done over 600. Trouble is, once you start trading multiple evaluations, if I'm going to give you a piece of advice, this is the one piece of advice I would stick to. Do one evaluation at a time. Now, I get a commission from every evaluation you buy if you use my WhatsApp, but I'd rather you save your money. It makes no sense whatsoever passing one and thinking, yeah, I'll get loads, and I'll get loads of PA accounts. It doesn't work that way. You're going to blow loads, I guarantee it. So much rather blow one at a time than 5 at a time. It makes no sense. I've been stupid and done it myself, but if I can give you one piece of advice and I'd say listen to it, try and manage how much you lose, because you will lose money. I guarantee it. And it will take a fair amount of money till you start to become successful at it. So just do one at a time. Same with a PA. Do one at a time. If you can manage to get a PA to payment level, then maybe jump up to 2 and slowly grow. But people just try to... It's the nature of the business. You get excited. We all hear about how much money people withdraw. We all hear about people like the Alpine trader withdrawing 40, 50,000 in a month. And we all get excited and think so 5 PAs at a time. Yeah, it does. You can live with doing one PA. Maybe have a PA at the same time as an evaluation. So trade one PA, one evaluation. So if you fail your PA, at least you've got your evaluation in tow. And then, build up. But yeah, 350 evals is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Absolutely. Majority of mine, I haven't paid above 80% in a year. I think it was October, year before last, they had their first 80% off. So we're talking nearly a year and a half, I think. I haven't paid above 80%. But where I've blown a lot more is when they've been 90%. But yeah, it does add up. Right away at my shoulders, extra pressure to get the foot. Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it is. Especially when you get there close. I'll tell you what, mate. A couple of months ago, I needed 6 ticks to pass. 6 ticks to... What am I thinking of? I needed 6 ticks to hit $2,600. And I took a trade. Instead of going for 2 points, I went for 6 ticks. And it bounced off that order 3 or 4 times before going back and hitting me stop. And instead of just accepting it, I came back to the chart later and got frustrated that it didn't trigger me and tried to squeeze it, and I ended up blowing the account. So trying to avoid, this is for everybody, trying to scrappily and force trades. It's a recipe for disaster. Don't try and force it. If you're $10 away from passing a from hitting your payout level. Reduce your trade, but just take it. Always go for good setups. Don't take a crappy setup because you want to try and squeeze a trade because it fails. You may pass it once in a blue moon, but I have blown loads of accounts very close to getting a payment because I've scrappily tried to get a few extra ticks just to push it over that line. That's when things go on. And Sam will tell you as well. He'd have done that himself. Figured out 10,000 in school and you're through college, university, and expand. Absolutely. Mentioned that a few times. If you want to do a university degree in the UK, I'm pretty sure the cheapest you'll find one for per year is about £9,500. Well, if you add on to expenses and materials, you know, books ain't cheap when it comes to, you know, to the types of books you need for university. You're talking at least £10,000 per year. That's about $38,000-$39,000 for a 3-year degree. Now, why do you pay that money? Because it's a degree which is going to give you your career. Well, I suggest that a trading career is going to pay you way more money than the majority of people doing degrees for a career. So if you've spent $20,000 on, you know, learning to trade, I wouldn't beat yourself up about it. You're paying for an education just the same as you're paying for a degree. There's no difference. I switched to MES on my last $3, but I would say that is very sensible. But I'm waiting for a solid setup. If you need $3, I absolutely wouldn't trade one contract. I would go on to MES. I would. Let me think. One contract, 2 points will make you $5. I would do one contract and go for, or 2 contracts and go for a point on the MES. I would get your money that way. Sensible, because I'll tell you something, so many people blow accounts when they're extremely close. I like that leg up there, 2 attempts to go lower. That might not be a bad place to go long. I tend to now not take it and wait for the higher low, because if you like that as a big channel, we're way far from the EMA and the possible channel. So it is 2 legs. I'm just not a massive fan yet. I always wait. Let's have a look. Triple test. Maybe. I'm not sure whether I would call that a test. All we've done is pushed up and just trigger below that bar for a small pullback. That's the first test. That's the second test. I never take these because I've been caught out before. I always wait for the higher low. If there's a higher low there, the chance of you getting up to that top climbs up dramatically. And what you've got to remember as well, look at that. We're finding resistance up there. Are we even going to get up there again before we have a break? Look how far we are from this midline and the bottom of this trend channel on the NQ. Right at the very top. So we could have a significant pullback here. And if we have, forget that trade. That trade. I mean, look at that now. It's triggered you. What's happening? It's already on its way back. Whether it'll hold or not, but I think that's got danger written all over it. I mean, if this triggers and comes down, yeah, that's gonna. You may get okay. It's holding at the moment, but how long it holds for, I don't know. It may work, but if you wait till the higher low, the chance of you winning that trade just jumps up dramatically. I mean, if we come back up to the top and then bounce here again with a lovely big bullish bar, then I would go long. But look, I mean, if you're in that trade now, you wouldn't be holding much out, would you? It may hold, but you're always better off, in my opinion, to wait for the higher low. Yeah, I mean, a year ago, I'd have taken a trade like that. Those 2 trades yesterday, a lot of people got caught out. I recognise what they were. You know, it just goes to show that my trading Skills are improving. I'm recognizing where I'm getting caught out. You know, it's not just about taking good trades, it's about knowing when to stay out of bad ones. And sometimes these trades can look so attractive, but context is everything. Just because it's a second entry long doesn't necessarily mean. Okay, this is interesting. We're slowly working up now, and we've triggered that bearish bar. Trouble is, look at that now. If you're in that trade now, you wouldn't hold much out, would you? You may get lucky, it may hold, but I wouldn't want to be in that trade. We're reaching some support up here. We've just come off the tops of this. Last time we come off the tops, we came down. Before we came down. Before that, we came down. So what's going to happen here? I'd suggest the chance of it is coming down. Whether it will or not remains to be seen, but that would enough to keep me out of that trade. That's one of the beauties about having another opinion like this. Okay, we've got a leg down with a pullback. What's happening now? Is this starting to come down? If that does come down to here, the stop's going to be caught out there. I mean, it's a pretty bullish day, so you may get lucky. That's another reason trading with the trends. Sometimes it's just the fact that we're going up helps you out if you make a mistake. Yeah, that's a shame. But I get why people are taking that one. It makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. Looks right, doesn't it? Two lovely legs back in a bullish bar off this area here. Looks fine. But the fact is, we've been up to the top. We've been up to the top. We've been up to the top. We came back here. We couldn't get much higher there. So that tells me we're losing momentum. Now, whenever we do that and lose momentum, if you look here, we're not quite reached the top, have we? So we're losing momentum. We have two strong pullbacks there. We had a strong pullback and then we struggled to get higher again. Now, in a lot of cases, and I mentioned it earlier, I would expect or think it's likely we're going to have a break because we're losing momentum. I would still be interested in going long here, though, because things are looking nice in here. Absolutely. I mean, is this bigger channel valid? It could be. Is that the channel with a break and one attempt to go high? It could be. Once you get into channels within channels, we've got a channel there and a break and a new high, so it could come down. So context is everything, and you just get much better at seeing it and identifying things and knowing when to stay out of trouble. Unfortunately, when you do that, well, I say unfortunately, what does happen when you do that is you take less trades in a day, which is always a better thing. Less trades and much better quality trades. You know, I think I was saying earlier, he took 6 trades yesterday, lost 3, and got out for break even. So after 6 trades and all that stress, you're in the red. It's just, for me, I think it's better off. I know everybody does, you know, certain difference, and I know Bart has a lot of success. But he does take more trades, so that's his style. But personally, my style is to just sit and wait and try and take those best trades, and you're going to have a lot less losses, a lot less stress. Whereas as soon as you lose a trade, you've got to do 2 trades now, at least 1 trade to get back to where you were. Obviously, depends on how much you've lost. So that to me is possibly a leg and a leg. I think it's past the channel, I would suggest, maybe not. Yeah, maybe just a little micro channel with a break. Look, I asked because I haven't taken a trade since Wednesday last week. Have you not? Haven't seen anything convincing set. That's not a bad thing. There hasn't been a great deal of trades lately, and sometimes rather than take a bunch of losses because you're squeezing trades, I think sometimes you're better off just, trying to take those good setups. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of area because we've been right up to the top there. For me, it's got to at least, what did we do last time? We had 2 legs back to the bottoms. This time we had 2 legs back to the bottoms. So I think there's a fair chance we're going to get down to this area, which hopefully may give us a leg and a leg. So I would suggest, hello. I would suggest now that is a channel. Okay, there is 2 legs back and quite a nice bullish bar there. I'd like to see this push up a little bit and then come down some more. Okay, now come down. So we had the same there, didn't we? We came down, pushed up, came down, pushed up and come down. Come down. We've got exactly the same area there, haven't we? They've got exactly the same looking area there, haven't we? We've come off the tops and we've had 2 legs back with a break, and then down to the bottom we've come off the tops, 2 legs down with a break. So I would suggest we'd be coming down here. They're almost identical. I expected it to go up with 2 bars, which it did there, and then we had a slightly bearish one, and down we came to this area. So whether it's going to do that or not, I don't know, but it's a pattern that's very similar here. We come down, 2 little pushes up and then down again. So I would suggest, I would expect to come down some. So I would not be taking that higher low there, because that to me is a trap. You might be thinking we've had a break. It may push up, but for me, that's got risk written all over it. We've got a channel up, we have a break, you'd expect to make a new extreme. That to me is risky. Especially as I've identified this pattern here. May work, but for me, that's risky. That was a second entry long. Yeah. I get it is, but it's just risky, I think. It may work, but it's risky. I just don't like what I'm seeing here. Just put my Wednesday trade on Discord if you get a few minutes. Minutes of the weekend. Take a look. Let me know. Presentation. Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, just out of interest, do you put your charts on the Facebook group? I would put your charts on the Facebook group, and just ask for feedback. I did that for the first sort of year and a half. See, it's such a bullish day. Sometimes it just works, but that's just too risky for me, especially what I'm seeing here. But it definitely worked. So, well, I say it definitely worked. You'd have got a point and a quarter off it, depending on what happens now. But we're just hitting some areas up here that I'm an IT guy. Facebook is pure evil. You're an IT guy. We're going to have a chat one day, mate. What I want to do is find out how to back up my system so that if some reason it went down, I could get Apex back with all my different various indicators. In other words, being able to back it onto a hard drive of some sort and then put it all onto a new system that looks exactly the same. I don't know whether you can do that or not. But you IT guys can be useful. If Thomas Wade's video, he follows only big trends. Like if a trend was up, it doesn't short. Trend second entry short. What's your opinion? Only big trend like. Yeah, just I wouldn't take shorts in an uptrend. It's counter trend trading. You can clearly see the day's up, so you don't want to be looking for shorts because you're going to get caught out. I'm not saying it's not going to come down, and it will. But you'll hear Mac talk about it, counter trend trading. It's just risky to do. So it's just a habit I've always adapted. It's one of the few rules I've stuck to. But you know, obviously in some cases you might be going short here or something because you think it's a range, and then after a while it develops into a channel. So when you realise you're in a trend, I wouldn't trend against that. It's too risky. It's going to catch you out. You know, there's a few rules that I would suggest that save you more lost trades than anything. If you're not sure what the market's doing, don't take a trade. The trouble is, when you knew, and I know exactly what it's like, you know, going back a couple of years ago, I'd take 6, 8, 10 trades a day. But the trouble is, you'd lose half of them, and you'd end up worse off. So as you get more and more experience, you'll start to filter out the crap ones, and then you'll only be left with the better trades. And then I would suggest that then that's when your skills. But stay out of congestion when it's like that. When you get an overshoot of a channel, stay out of a trade because it's so tempting to have two legs down and you take a long and it triggers you and comes down because we've had an overshoot. So don't trade congestion. When you get an overshoot, let it be, let it sort itself out. And don't counter trend trade, don't counter trend trade. If you follow those rules, you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. And a big one as well, if you're not sure what's happening, don't take a trade. If you're going long because you think it's doing this, don't. I say I think this, I think that all day long, because for me, I'm trying to work out what's happening, but I don't trade based on that, if that makes sense. I actually like that trend channel now, so yeah, just follow those rules and you'll save yourself. They're relatively straightforward ones to think about. Thomas Wade does never take trades long below it. Thomas Wade does never take trades long below the EMA and does never short above it. Yeah. You know, there is a higher low there, okay? Now, is it a bad trade? My concern is what I'm seeing on here. We've come up the top, so I'm concerning it may trap some traders and come down. We may have a leg and a leg, so that's not for me. But if you were going to take a long, you're always better to take it above the EMA. We've pushed up, we've had a little pullback, and it's above the EMA. So yeah, you really want to be taking your longs above the EMA and taking your shorts below. There are exceptions to rules, and you will see Max sometimes taking a long trade when it's below the EMA. You know, sometimes you can trade from the lows here. If we had a higher low here, you can trade up to the EMA. But what I would suggest is listen to Max videos. Now, don't be too disheartened by the fact that he puts a dozen or 2 dozen high probability trades. You may spot them at the end of the day, but in real time, it's not that simple. But I would watch him and just see these entries he does mark. But yeah, just, you know, trading is one of those things. The more chart time you have, you will start to know things. And one of the things I've noticed about my trading in the last 6 months is I don't get trapped nowhere near as much as I used to, because I recognize areas where you get trapped. So I stay out of there, and that saves you so many trades. It really does. And you will just, it's like any job, you know, I don't know if any of you craftsmen out there that are bricklayers or chippies or electricians, when you first go on site and fresh out of college, you're making cock-ups. But the more you go on with experience, you get better and better, and you don't have to think about it. You just, you know, you get your saw, you get your measure out, you cut it, you cut the angle, you do this, because you're that used to doing it, and it starts to become second nature. And trading will, so they tell me, start to become second nature. I'm at a level now where I can spot when to stay out. I still have my moments of weakness, but I can spot when to stay out of the market and when, you know, when I think there's a trap. A couple of times yesterday, I mentioned those areas where I wouldn't take a trade and trapped. I managed to stay out, but I know a bunch of other traders got stuck in them. I know Black Bay, the streaming guy, lost there, and Bart did as well. That was an area there, 2 legs back. He had a channel like that drawn somehow. I wasn't sure about this channel, so for me, it looks okay. 2 nice legs back, nice big bullish bar. Why wouldn't you go long there? But something just doesn't seem right. So there's a higher low there. Same again. It's a bit congested. It's a bit weird. I'm not confident what this channel's doing, so I stayed out of it. Trigger just stopped you out. Same with this one. There was someone on the stream. Who was the guy on the stream yesterday? Said, why the hell didn't it work? I forget his name. Why didn't that short work? Well, one of the reasons is there's a lot of support up here that it's bounced off twice. There's a double bottom there. On the NQ, we had 3 bounces, so that's a good reason not to go short. If you had your trend channel like that, what's another reason not to go short? You've had an overshoot. So in a lot of cases, overshoot results in a reversal, and that's exactly what it did. We had a double bottom there and it reversed. So just don't get into trades like that. If you're not sure, wait for a lower high. If you get a lower high, the chances are you've made the right decision and you're not getting trapped. But, you know, a lot of traders got caught in that yesterday. Now, going back a year ago, I'd have been one of them. But you do start to notice these little things. What, you know, do you remember when you guys learned to drive? If you ever broke, now in the UK, I don't know what it's like in the US, but you brake with your right foot. Next time you're on a road, try braking with your left foot. It's amazing how nearly impossible it is, because that right leg of yours is finely tuned. You can get an emergency stop and that leg will do exactly what it's supposed to. Just out of pure practice. You can drive down the road, changing gear, doing this, that and the other while having a conversation. Because you can do it. It's second nature. But when you're learning to drive, you're looking at the pedals and you're looking at and you're not watching what's going on around you. And as you get a better trader, you'll start to notice things, and it'll happen automatically. Just the more experience. It's common sense. The longer you've been doing it, the better you will get at it. But on the way there, it's frustrating. Because if you're learning to do a job at work, it's not a problem, because you've got other people there with you saying, do this, do that. And what happens on a Friday? You get your wages. With a trader, while you're learning, every bit of time you're learning, you're losing money. So that's the frustrating side of it. Thomas Wade takes shorts on above, below ranges if the price is far away. What I'll suggest is, as people get more experienced, they find their own style of it, and they'll take, if they notice certain things, they'll trade based on that. So, you know, I've had this conversation with Mac in an email maybe 6 or 8 months ago. You know, he said he teaches us the basics, and the rest you figure out by yourself. And, you know, the more you watch the markets, you'll just start to work out what's going on. You'll notice patterns, and, you know, you'll notice when those patterns are a little bit dodgy. But a thing I mention all the time, if I've got money invested in this trade, now this long worked. Now, is it a bad trade? I don't think so. I'm not a massive fan of it, just for that reason. But what I will say is, as we've come off the highs, we've got 2 legs back. So I don't know whether it's going to push up or come back down. If you take this area here, what did we do? We had 2 legs down, a pull back, and down to the bottom. 2 legs down, a pull back. I was thinking there's a lot of support along there that it may come back. And if it did come back, that trade wouldn't work. So I'm happy to stay out of trades that don't feel quite right, because it does make my win rate, you know, a lot better. But yeah, I mean, Thomas Wade sort of developed his own slight style of doing things, which might differ. Take shorts on or above, buys below on ranges. Yes, if you get a range, it's hard to figure out exactly what you mean, but I mean, if we push below a range and retest the side in a downtrend, it's okay to, you know, to short, but, you know, everyone's got their own slight style and their own slight ways of doing things. There may be some trades that I noticed that maybe some people wouldn't, you know, some other guys wouldn't trade. But it has been pretty difficult lately. I think the only one on here I would have taken is that. To me, the body's a little bit far from the EMA there. That one, I did drop a limit order there, but unfortunately it went off without me. Failing that, there's not a lot today. This original channel down with the break of a new low, a high low, that might not have been bad, but that was just way too early. We got a triple bottom there, a push up and a high low. Yeah, it's not a lot of trades today. Nothing along here anyway, nothing here. Then you got the news. Would you have taken that one short? I wouldn't have done. As I say, there was that high low which I jumped in. Unfortunately, when we get back to the EMA, it's congested. We get back to the EMA, it's congested again. And now we're pushing up back to the EMA, no trade there. Nothing here. 2 legs down. You may have taken it. I didn't, because I was worried that that would come down. And on the last couple of occasions, that's exactly what it's done. So I think that is a little bit extra risky. Not only that, we've had a little channel here break. It could come down and retest this area. But it is quite a strong bullish day today. So sometimes every time it comes close to that, it just takes off. So maybe that was okay. But for me, it's just a little bit risky. But yeah, last time we were up here, we had 2 legs back, 1 leg, 2 leg, and a pull back, and then down again. 1 leg, 2 legs, and a pull back. When we had this bar here, if you look there, there is quite a bit of support there, resistance there rather. So my concern was there was a second entry short there that trapped that higher low, and I was thinking we come down, but we didn't. Sometimes it will continue on up, but it was enough to keep me out of that trade. I don't know what the risk was. I didn't really pay much attention to the risk, but It was a relatively small risk, actually. 2 points. A tick above below. It closed my trade before take profit and open a trade, this time in the same direction. I'm not sure what's going on there, bud. Close my trade before take profit. Right, it sounds to me like something's wrong there. Just have a look on the forum, see if there's anything. Are you using Rhythmic, John, are you? And we're trading the same direction. You're getting some lag or something there. You are, yeah. Do you clean out your cache? Yeah, check. See, I always have my orders and positions tab. I suggest you do the same. Make sure you have your orders and positions tab and make sure there's nothing showing in here. And have this on here as I do sometimes, yeah. I do mine at the end of every day. It stops things getting clogged up. It's just an extra little precaution to take. So I would go onto the Apex website and download Apex Desktop Assistant. And that makes it very easy to delete your cache at the end of every day. I do it automatically now. When I set my stream for tomorrow and mark up my chart, I automatically do that. So I would say you're probably best off shutting shop today. There's no point in getting stung. You know, it may be a problem with, you know, if you look up here, have you got a lag up here by any chance? I got mine at the top. I'm pretty sure this is part of Max, I think, but no open orders. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. That seems like some lag. It may be down to Rhythmic. It just seems that Rhythmic seems to be the culprit for a lot of problems. Whether it is or not, I can't say for sure, but that's part of the frustrating thing about trading with prop firms. Unfortunately, it's not just Apex. It's just a Rhythmic thing, and it's just a bit unfortunate. I'm just looking on the Apex Discord now. Can't really see any problems. Yeah, all I suggest if something does go wrong, I certainly wouldn't trade. I would say it's not Replicanto. I don't have any problems with Replicanto. I used to get that problem occasionally where it opened in the previous direction when I used the Apex trade copier. But since I've been using Replicanto copier, I've never had a problem. But I think things aren't perfect, and all you can really do is make sure you have your orders and positions tab, and make sure you have your Apex positions tab as well. And when a trade closes, make sure there's no red cross there, and make sure these are empty. That'll make sure there's nothing sitting dormant, because if there's something sitting dormant, you know, I had a problem. Hey Chris, how you doing, bud? I had a problem a couple of 3 weeks ago. What was it? I closed the trade in Ninja Trader, but it was still running in the positions in the Rhythmic. I didn't have this. That's at the top of my chart now, so I wasn't monitoring it. And when I've actually got it, I tried to click the button, the red cross, and I couldn't close it. Well, apparently you can't flatten everything now on the Apex website. And what we're advised to do by Daryl Martin is to download the Rhythmic app and do it that way. Go into the Rhythmic app. And the thing about doing that is you can see the trades when they close. And then what I would do when I've done that and they close, just take a quick screenshot on your phone. Use a lag indicator for Ninja Trader. Yeah, lag indicators make a difference as well. Do you notice yesterday the lag was just going crazy? This was on 120 and froze. And the trouble is, if there is lag, it'll stop and then jump. So, you know, it can get you into trouble. So yeah, unfortunately, we have to do these things and sort of do a little bit of self-security. But it's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, it is a pain in the arse. It'd be nice to have none of this and just have Ninja Trader open and just being able to rely that when a trade's closed, it's closed, and when a trade's open, it's open. But because of this data from Rhythmic, it isn't infallible, and it can cause a bit of a headache. Which is why I've changed my trading plan now. My plan is to get an account to a payment, take a payment of $2,000 and then reduce it to one contract and then let that ride. Then it's free money, let it ride. And when I get a payment, I'll add another one or two evaluations to it and build that way. But I'm just not confident about leaving a lot of money in Apex with these Rhythmic problems, because I know Apex are pretty good. If you get a widespread outage, they do reset accounts. But if it's on an individual basis, I've had a lot of traders saying they said, sorry, there's nothing they could do. Well, if I've got $10,000 sat in a PA account and something goes tits up with Rhythmic and I lose all that money, I'll be throwing myself off the nearest bridge. So I would suggest get the $2,600, take $2,000. That account is then paid for itself. You're then trading with free money. Reduce the one contract, trade that one in the background, and then move on. Yeah, I'm not sure, Chris, whether does Top Step use something else? I don't know why Apex needs to use Rhythmic. Perhaps it's just the way it is. But I'm not sure. The trouble is, I've got that thing with, I like Apex, I like the rules, I like their attitude towards customers. So I like being with Apex at the moment. They're cheaper than everybody else. Their rules are better than everybody else. So for me, I just won't want to go anywhere. I'd rather, have the problems. And at least I know if you have a widespread outage, Apex sort it out. Sort it out for everybody. I wonder here whether we're just now going a bit of sideways here. Because if we are, we've got to change the rules. I'm just wondering whether there is some sideways there. We've had 3 touches on the tops here. I have no complaints with Apex. Yeah. They have. Yeah, they've always covered my arse. I think my only slight gripe is if it happens on an individual basis. I've heard traders saying they got an email saying they wouldn't help them. Well, that to me is a bit frustrating. I know Apex say it's not our problem, it's a Rhythmic problem. But if you sign up and pay for an Apex package, part of that deal is you have to use Rhythmic. So if they say you have to use this piece of software which is known to have problems, as far as I'm concerned, they should, if they make it as part of their system, then they're going to have to take responsibilities to a degree. Or find another alternative, because if people are losing money all the time, sooner or later they'll start to move elsewhere. Excuse me, just for 1 minute, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Yeah, I mean, really, when you sign up to an evaluation or a peer account, there should be a disclaimer saying that although we will help out on the odd occasion when there is an outage, if it happens on an individual basis, you could lose some or all of your money. There should be a disclaimer like that, really. I mean, this is definitely the trouble is we've had this leg back. We could make another leg back before we push up, so I'm just not thinking about getting into a trade here. There is a bunch of disclaimers in Apex before you buy an account. Does it say anything about rhythmic? Let's have a look at that. I wasn't aware. The trouble is, and I've said this before, if you sell, let's say, for instance, you sell a washing machine to a customer. Now, this happens all the time. So let's pick, I don't know, Zanussi washing machine. So if you... Now, this probably happens in a lot of cases, but let's say Zanussi, when they put their washing machine together, they may get parts or different electronics from other companies. They use those parts in their machines. And when they sell that machine to you, if they've used software from some other company, they sell you that package. If it goes wrong, they're responsible for it. They don't say, I'm sorry, we don't make that part. You'll have to go to Mr. Green down the bottom of the road. And you go, well, hold on a minute. I buy the package from you. My deal is with you. If something goes wrong with the product that you fit in your machines, then you know you're responsible for that. That's how I see it. So if Apex sell us a package where we have to use a specified piece of software, if that software breaks down, in my opinion, I think Apex should take responsibility. Now, they do in a lot of cases when there's a big outage, which is good. But I think to say a customer, we sell it to you, you have to use that, but we're not responsible for it, then I don't know. For me, that is not an attractive... it's not attractive to want to trade then, and I think you'll start to... If those problems can continue and people continue to lose money, I think people will start to look elsewhere, or people will think, this is a ball ache, I might as well trade my own damn money. At least I'm probably going to, trade a bit more careful. So that's my theory. So, leg down. So I'd like to see this get down to this area, really. I would suggest, see, that's what I expected here, leg down, pull back, and then down, but we did manage to push a bit higher before we come down. I'll have to look at those disclaimers, actually. But, don't get me wrong, I like Apex. They're my choice of prop firm. I like Daryl. I like the decisions they've made. I like the way they do it. It's just that little niggle with rhythmic which causes me a few sleepless nights. If they can tie that up, traders will be a lot happier. Not only that, it causes them a nightmare as well, because they've got to put up with all the backlash, all the emails and all the problems. So, every time someone picks up an email, there's someone at the end that's got to be paid. Okay, so channel break, new low. So I'd like to see this get somewhere down here. It is frustrating to see this move and have no real entries. is your risk to reward? I use strict pats. Strictish, yeah. I tend to just go for a flat 2 points. Well, I have mine set at 10 ticks, so that's usually as much as I'll go, but depending on what I'm seeing, whether I go for 2 points or 10 ticks. But I would suggest on good setups, you will find very few trades that won't make 2 points. In fact, I looked on Max charts for about, I don't know, was it 2 weeks or something like that? And I think he'd marked 105 trades, and 103 of them made comfortably over 2 points. So personally, 2 points is a good starting point, in my opinion. Some people still... a point is absolutely, for me, it's just not worth it. You've got to be a spectacular trader to be able to make money just scalping a point. So many days, you'll risk... I don't see the point in risking 3.5 points to make a point, unless you're a really solid trader, or unless you've got the... Fed speaking 3 minutes. I've got nothing on my chart. I don't know. But yeah, you've got to be a solid trader to make money on 1 point. So I would, personally, for me, I would go for 2 points all the time. There are some traders. I know people like Daniel and Marco go for 6 ticks. But, 2 points, I think, is the sweet spot. I've been trading 2 points for a year and a half now, maybe 2 years, and it works beautifully. Do you move your stop to under the entry bar? Yeah, occasionally I'll give it 1 extra tick. Sometimes in trending markets, a lot of the time, have you ever been stopped out by 1 tick and then it turns up and goes in the direction? So sometimes I'll give it 1 tick. It has saved me on a few trades, not lately, but on some trades. So we are finding some resistance here, aren't we? I would suggest we're probably still in an uptrend. We haven't come back that much before we try to push even higher again. So yeah, this is not filling me full of confidence. So we got a leg up, 2 legs back, and then a continuation on. This market just doesn't want to slow down. Whenever you think we will get a pullback, it just keeps on going. 3 touches here. I thought we're at least going to get down to here and then slowly grind up. We get down, we have a break, we have a new low, and then we get 2 strong bars and we're already back into the highs. Yeah, I've just read something on Discord. Anyone have a position? This is probably for John, I think. Anyone have a position order change after price target hit today? Happened to me earlier. So he had a position order change after price target was hit. That sounds something like what you mentioned, John, I think, if you're still listening, mate. So you may not be the only one. So if you've had an issue with it, I'd sort of open a ticket with Apex. I think this person has here. So perhaps there may be a few. Yeah, there's just no trades here at the moment. We're up, we're down, we're up, we're down, up, down. What am I seeing here? Getting really tired. Yeah, I would, mate. It does get you tired, this, because it's quite stressful. It's fast moving, requires a lot of concentration. So it does. I used to be knackered after a couple of hours. Yeah, it does. Trouble is, when you're tired and you lose focus and concentration, it's when you get a bit vulnerable. It's a good decision when you're tired to walk away. So trouble is, we're into all-time highs here, into new territory nearly. So where's it going to stop? Is it going to trigger above it and then tank? I don't know. What I will say is we're up here once, twice, three times. I expected a bit of a push there because there's probably going to be a few stops maybe above there. But are we going to continue on up still, or are we coming down? Back into this sort of... definitely a strong trend day today. Unfortunately, not really any entries that I can see. There was only one, that one there, where I'd have had a go at. So not a huge move as in size, but a slow grind. I think it's going to be one of those days today. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a shame about that trade there. I just look in the Facebook group. A few others took that. Shame it just went that quick. What you can do? What can you do? Shame. Shame. Facebook group. I will show you, my friend. There it is. Max price action trading. What I would do, and I did this for the first year and a half. That's it there. I did this. Yeah, there's another trader took that one. That was the one there, high or low. I was just waiting for it. As soon as I dropped an order, and it just went without me, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it there. Max price action day trading. And for the first year and a half, I posted my chart on there and just asked for some feedback. A lot of people do. Just ask for feedback. He's good, Marco. Very helpful, lovely guy. Helped me out a lot, he has, in my trading journey, but he puts his chart there every single day. So just pay attention to people like him and some of the more experienced traders in there. But yeah, max price action. But join that, and you have to some nice guys there. They'll help you out. You're in that one. Yeah, that's it. A few. No, I don't have one personally. No. Yeah, Marco's great. All the best, lads. Yeah, you have a good weekend, Chris. You take it easy, mate. Have a good weekend. In fact, I'm going to finish soon. Maybe another 5-6 minutes, and I'm going to get myself down and open a nice single malt. I've got about 2 or 3 more shots left of my bottle of Lecheg, and then I'll be ordering a new one. To be fair, we're into new territory up here. We're away from the EMA. You go to the pub tonight, are you? Good on you, mate. I could start going out a little bit more when the weather sort of turns nice. I'm not a winter person. I'd rather just stay in. But I do like my single malt. I have about a bottle a month, I'd say, on a good year. So, yeah, it's a finicky day. We are slowly grinding up, but it's very choppy in between. Before you run out, yeah, I should do. Last thing I want to do is get caught short. In fact, I'm going away at the end of the month just for Friday. It's the Easter weekend, so we're shouting away just for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going down to visit my sister down in Winchester, towards the south coast. So I'll take a bottle down there with me. So I'll probably drink one before then. But I always try to find whiskies that I haven't tried before. Trouble is, most of the stuff on the shelves now at the supermarkets I've had. So I do tend to order from Amazon quite a bit. They're actually, they do some really good deals and it's delivered to your door. That's where I got that bottle of Lecheg from. I do want, there is an 18-year-old Lagavulin I want, which is about £100, and I'm going to buy that when I get my first $10,000 month. That's my treat. Emergency backup whiskey. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. You're going to have something to run away with. Just in case you ever get into trouble and you've got to commit suicide, you've got to have something to drink yourself to death. Yeah. I like the heavily peated whiskies I do most of them tend to be from Islay. I absolutely hated them initially. The first bottle I bought, I took a swig of it and I thought, that is disgusting, but it grows on you. This is very finicky, isn't it? We go up a bit, then down, a couple of legs down, then up a bit, and then along a bit, and it's almost like a weird path, isn't it? We're coming up to that measured move. So if it is that measured move from yesterday, 2 legs up, 2 legs back, 1, 2 legs up. That's gone too far. Oh, has it? Maybe not. It's very close to that now. So it's very close. And we're right at the top of this. See, that actually looks really nice. It's worked beautifully. In fact, that's one of the nicest larger uptrends I've seen for a while. I mean, look at the NQ. It's been all over the place. A lot of sideways for last week, but look at that. That's a nice, strong, clean uptrend, that is. Very nice. So when we got to the top last time, we had 2 legs down, a bullish bar. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a higher low, or if you considered, that a high low, for me, I couldn't take that as it was a higher low, but we're into support there. And my concern is we do like we did here, 2 legs down, a break, and then down again, 2 legs down, a break. So going long into that, I was thinking when that triggered that was going to come down. It didn't, but sometimes it doesn't. But we are at the tops again. So I fear this day is failing, but I'm never in a rush to take a trade. If I don't see one, I won't take one. So 1 trade yesterday. So what am I up about? What am I up for the week point wise? So yesterday, so I'm up 4.75 points. So what am I up for the week? So this is Friday. Okay, so I'm up 1, 2, 4. I'm up about 5 points for the week. Five points. I'm all right with that. That's all right for me. 5. I'm happy with it. It didn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it soon flipping mounts up. 5 points trading 2 contracts. That's 5 points trading 2 contracts. That's $2,000 a month. That's a pretty slow week, that is, to be fair, but there hasn't been a lot of trades. So if you can get 5 points in a week profit on 2 contracts, that's $2,000 a month. You do that times 10, well, you can do the maths. So right at that measured move, and we've turned down right at the top of the trend channel on the NQ. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here a little longer, maybe for another half an hour or so, but I'm just going to take a quick break. My wife and daughter downstairs. So I'm just going to tell them I'm just going to trade a little bit longer. So another 30 minutes, I think. I'd like to get a trade, but obviously I don't want to squeeze one. But if we do get an opportunity, shame about that, but there you go. So quick 5 minutes and I'll be back. Okay. Let's do another. What time is it? Let's do up till 6 o'clock UK time, another 25 minutes. It is frustrating when you see a big move like that, but there's just no, apart from that one, there's no way in, unfortunately, that I can see. Tight to the top of this channel again. So I would expect twice we've hit it. We hit it twice there, and then we had 2 legs back. And then we went up some more. Now, what I will say is, let's get rid of that now, is we've been up right to the top of this multiple times now. And we seem to be struggling here. There's a double top there, so... Can't go along there, unfortunately. This thing just doesn't want to slow down, does it? It's battling to get out that top. Right, we've had 3 touches. Surely this has got to come down a bit now. God, it's so hard, this. It's just awkward. Spike channel, spike channel. Uh, Hard to get to all-time highs. Oh, no, my mistake. I shoved that up out the way. This is all-time highs. It kept hitting all-time highs, so I kept shoving it up, and I just rammed it up there. So no, every time we push up now and hit a new high, this is all-time highs. Sorry, my mistake. I just shoved it out the way because it was just hitting it here and then hitting it again and hitting it again, so I kept moving it, so I just shoved it up. It's just, you just can't take that, unfortunately. That's another reason. We're just so close to the tops of these highs. Let me just remove that a minute. I don't like any of this. Trouble is, you see this happen here, and you go along and it pushes up. You just can't get in here, though, because as much as you want to, trust me, as soon as you get in, it'll trigger and come down. Not only that, on the NQ at the moment, we're right tight to the top of this upper part of the trend. So my concern is we get a pullback, and it always seems to be when you decide to go in because you've lost your patience. Alpine's struggling again. He's blew 2 more PA counts and he's down. He has made some profit in some of them, but he's down $1,600 again. He's having a tough couple of days. Sometimes you get one day and it knocks your confidence. I do wonder whether if you have a particularly bad day, whether you're better off just taking a couple of days off. That's the first time I've seen him blow accounts. He blew 10 or 12 yesterday and 2 today so far. Which is a shame. Sometimes when it's like nothing can go wrong, and everything sort of comes at once. Okay. Trouble is, I can't in all good conscience take a trade when we're so close to these tops. I just don't like this. It's hard to read. It's just odd. In all fairness, with the exception from there and there, we haven't really come below that line so much. Every time we've dipped below, we dip below there, strong push back up, dip below there, strong push back up. So Trouble is, when we decide to get in here, it'll decide to come down to this side. Trouble is with the Alpine guy, if you trade without losing a stop loss, when things do go wrong, it's messy. Personally, I've always been taught never to trade without a stop loss, because if the unthinkable happens and all of a sudden something comes out in the news or in the market and the market's just decided to dip 20 points and you're trading 20 accounts, that could completely wipe you out. And to lose, what's that, 10... Another 2 today, 12 PA accounts, to lose over 2,000, 2 to 3,000 every account. Just, that's a good enough reason to. I get why people do trade without a stop loss, but you've got to be very experienced, and you've got to be strict in your rules. So I don't know how he's managed to get caught out by that much. Okay, there is a second entry long there, but it's just too congested. I don't like the fact that we're right tight to the top of this. At some point, this could drop. So, unfortunately, there's no trade here for me. You can clearly see it's congested. Now, I'm not saying, sometimes it'll just keep on going. Sometimes we have days like that. But regardless of whether I think what I think it's going to do, the picture I've got at the moment just says I can't trade that. It's just too risky. Now, in 10 minutes' time, we may be up here, but it doesn't change the decision-making process. Maybe there's something there, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that is a channel. Well, look, off it goes again. In fact, I'm just going to remove that for now because I'm moving up every 2 seconds. We're certainly well into all-time highs. I mean, that is a nice trend channel, but there's so much choppiness within it, it's hard to read. Very bullish, isn't it? I mean, look how it's staying in that top tier. We're constantly really banging on the upper trend channel's door consistently. There's been no hint. I mean, if you go from here to here to here, so from around about 3:30 UK time, so in nearly 2.5 hours, we haven't come back to the bottom of this trend line, and it's spent so much of its time above the EMA, a little bit there, but then the rest of it has been above that EMA. That's a strong trend, isn't it? Trouble is, regardless of how strong it is, if you haven't got a setup, we can't trade it. And that's where I've had issues in the past, thinking it's going up, let's just jump in. Some days you just can't seem to do anything wrong, but you can't continuously trade based on that. You think it's going up, so I'm going to buy. Trust me, I've done it so many times, and it's just almost like that market sat watching you, and the second you trip up, punishes you for it. So the conclusion I've got, all you can ever do is wait for a setup and take it. So many times I've just tried to scrappily get a couple of ticks. I've lost patience, or I've think this looks like it's going to push up quick, let's just buy. I've done it all, and it doesn't work. I don't know whether it's, part of being a trader, you've got to go through that. You probably have to a degree. I suggest some traders do it a lot more than others. Depends on your personality, I think. But I think I've struggled more than most, I would say. It's been a while since we've had a day like this. Yeah, it is sometimes. I mean, when I started trading currency. And first thing we would do in the mornings is we would use something called a strength indicator. It was an indicator that Andrew Lockwood had built. And what it does, it's basically a bunch of squiggly lines going sideways. And what we would do is, each sort of the major currencies, the euro, the dollar, the Canadian dollar, and so on, would have their own colour. And what we would look for is a strong one with an upward run compared to one with a downward run. So we would picture a strong currency against a weak currency, and presto, you've got a trend. And that's how we would do our days. We spent a lot of time searching just to find a chart doing this. But even when you get a nice uptrend like this, which has continued to go on, there's very little setups. It's a shame about that. I'm not frustrated. We had 2 legs down, strong push up. We triggered that bearish bar. I was just waiting for confirmation on there, and I dropped my order in. But as you can see, when it opens, it just pushed up quick. It just never came back. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things. That's why sometimes if I think we're going to get in and I haven't got time to do it, I'll just click the buy button. But on this occasion, I decided for some reason to open a limit order, and as I dropped it, and I moved it up a tick or so, but it just, as you can see, it went. The trouble is, you can't follow it. You can hope it's going to come down. If it, keep your trade there if it's only gone up a point or so, but that one had comfortably gone up over 2 points too late. There's nothing I can do, which is a shame. I rarely miss trades. But sometimes it happens. I've come to realise that we are in a trend day Friday, so I'm still until close. Yeah. I mean, that's a fair old day, isn't it? That is. We haven't seen a day like that for a while, really. Not almost a full day, with the exception of a push up and a pull back, and then up we go. But the trouble is, we're forever. When it's so strong like this, you wait for a solid pullback. And taking a trade like that, I just can't do it. Yes, it's at the key entry point. Yeah, we're in a very strong day, but trouble is, the time I decide to do that, which is more risky because you're going long into all those tops, it could trigger you, come back down to here, and then rock it up. So as much as you want to get into these days, and I get you do, you see the market going up 50, 60, 80 points in a day and more, and you want to get some of it. Unfortunately, the only way you get somewhere really in this business is just by, sitting and waiting for those obvious setups. And I know, because I've spent so much time and money on taking crap setups, that sooner or later you just automatically just get better at not cocking up. These days when it feels like a trend. Yeah. Sometimes these trending days, especially lately over the last few months, have been some of the hardest days to trade. At least we know we're taking longs, but taking a good enough entry is the tough bit. I mean, if you take bullish bars above the EMA, that worked. That one, well, it did work in the end. I didn't like it because of what I was looking with. But the trouble is we spend so much time in the middle of this and off there, which makes it even more difficult to make decisions. You've got two legs down there. There was a higher low there, but I didn't like it because it's a bit congested. It's a bit sideways looking, and you don't know that it's going to continue to do that at the time. It's still looking quite sidewaysy. And it's just one of those things. You either take a risk, and I prefer not to. But yeah, sometimes in hindsight. Now, Matt might come and mark that, but in reality, you just can't trade that. Look how we've come down. There's like a failure there. Look how price is holding. Look how the EMA is holding price. You just can't do it. We'll enter into a trade, thinking Trent will do the same thing, but we'll guarantee it. Yeah. It's weird. It's almost like the market is watching for us just to make a mistake. I know they say when you're learning to trade, there's so much written about, forget having attitudes like the market's out, forget. I disagree, because the market's looking for weak positions, and as an inexperienced trader, some of your trades are going to be weak positions. So I'd say, yeah, the market's picking on the weaker people, the weaker trades. It was a buy the close day type swing trade. Yeah. It is frustrating. See, my issue again is look how we're now above this. So we're breaking above this. Now, whether there's a channel like that, which there could be, and it may continue on up, but on a bigger scale, it's an overshoot. So it could just come tumbling down. So do I really want to take a trade here when we're above the trend channel? That's my dilemma. But maybe you don't have this big trend channel. Maybe you just have something like that, in which case we could continue on up. But I certainly wouldn't want to go long on this being so far from the EMA. Why? Because it could come back. So if I'm going long here, I'd not want to, because it could come back. And if that comes back, it could come around about to if it comes down to the EMA, that distance is probably equal to coming down to here. So if you take a long here, it could trigger and come down. And whenever you don't do nothing, it continues on up. Whenever you decide to get in and take a risk, it punishes you. It's incredibly sophisticated the way, the ES is sort of programmed. It just looks for slightly weak positions, and it just picks them off one by one. But, we had such a lot of support there. We just smashed straight through it. A bit of sideways here, then we just pushed up again. It's just never ending. But you see that again and again. And when you decide to, this time I'm going to have a risk, guaranteed, you get shafted. But you just get used to just letting it go. It's just not worth it. If I take a trade now, my first trade Monday, or first 1.5 trade Monday, is just going to get me back to where I am level. So you're much better if you don't get a setup, just not taking one. Yeah, it could actually drop. You just never know. Someone's just commented actually on Alpine's trader. Just go short. It's got to go down eventually. Well, it's not necessarily the case. Could come up another 20 points before it does decide to come down. Trouble is, we're constantly making new highs here, and there's a lot of sideways stuff. There's no way I go long here, so I'm not going long here. Just does not want to slow down, does it? We go again. Okay, one leg down. Let's get another one. Let's have a look at this. Actually, I think I prefer that one now. It seems to have gone up at a slightly more steeper angle, so... Move down, come on this type of day. Yeah. So risky. Yeah. Trouble is once it starts to get very slow going, it can come down quick. I'm just a potato. I love some of them names. We need another leg. Come on. God, this is so steep, and it's gone off like a bloody rocket. Up it goes again, look. Unfortunately, we just get one leg down and then off it goes again. It's just one of those days. Sometimes it just does not, give you an entry. But the beauty is, if you can sit through this for 3 or 4 hours and not get tempted to take a poor trade because you want to try and get some money, you'll do all right. You'll do well out of trading. You'll get there a lot quicker. Unfortunately, I went through that stage of just jumping in on bad trade after bad trade. You see the market moving, you want to get part of the move, it triggers you, stops you out. Trust me, it's just got a way of punishing like nothing else. And the only way I've found around it is just to sit and wait for a trade. If you get 3 trades in a day, within 10 minutes, happy days. If you get nothing within 4 hours, sometimes it's just the way it is. But I'm guaranteed as soon as I walk away, something will happen. But this is it for me today. It's one of those tough days today, so I've got no issues with going away 0 for the day. I've done my job. The only trade I would have taken, I tried to take, I made an attempt to, which was a shame, and that went off nice and strong. So you'd have got a couple of points within maybe 10 seconds there. But the fact that it was a nice trade and the way it went off was part of the reason why it never triggered, which is just unfortunate. Sometimes it happens. So that's it for the week. So I'm up about 4.5 points for the week, which is not a huge amount. This is the second day with no trades, which it doesn't often happen. I may get 1 day in a week, but certainly not 2 usually. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes it is what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't argue with the market. If it doesn't give you an offering, it doesn't give you an offering. So that's it. Another week done. I'll be back on Monday. So look, I appreciate all your comments. If you've had a trade today, I hope it's been green. If you've had a red one, I hope it's been minimal. The loss has been minimal, but have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will speak to you all again. We'll do it all again on Monday. Bye for now.